Chill family, today we're talking about 3 late training camp veteran additions to NFL teams, new additions to the Atlanta Falcons, the Indianapolis Colts, and of course the Dallas Cowboys, aka America's team, if they still are called that, if you will. But anyway, before we get into the video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, tell a friend, and make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys never miss an episode of the Chill Report, because the Chill Report is live every single weekday talking about the latest going on in sports. So with that being said, let's get into the video, man. Let's get it. So, starting off with the first signing, Von Miller heads to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys shook up the NFC landscape by officially signing the future Hall of Fame pass rusher Von Miller. Executive Stephen Jones reportedly sealed the deal by challenging Miller to cap his career with the Super Bowl in Dallas, mirroring what DeMarcus Ware did in Denver. Jerry Jones has noted the team remains open to making even more substantial moves. So, I actually happen to like this Von Miller signing for the Cowboys. You guys know I'm a huge proponent of veteran experience always in every situation. I feel like any situation where a team is going to be competitive or where a team is going to talk about winning serious games as far as being a contender, as far as being, you know, a real deal to actually pay attention to and talk about I'm talking about any sport, in football, basketball, whatever. For that to happen, I feel like you need someone who has that veteran experience, has someone who's been there, done that. And it don't have to be someone like Von Miller to where they played a huge role in the team getting it done, but it could be just a player that, you know, was a role player on a championship team, or, you know, a player that was around the team while they won a championship, and so they know what to expect. They know how to practice. They know what to expect in practice. They know, okay, well, this is what we did to prepare ourselves to make sure that we were ready when the time comes for the playoffs, for us to be fully healthy, fully refreshed. This is how we practice. This is how we approached our training. This is how we did these things. This is how our diets were. It's just different things like that you don't get just off talent. Like, yeah, you can have talented players all day. The NFL, any sport you think of, is full of talented players. Full of talented players and rosters. That's great. But what that veteran experience does, and you guys know I will say this and I will beat this drum pause until the end of time. What that veteran experience does is it allows that talent to actually be fueled towards the mindset of really winning something. Because you can have a talented team all day, but if a talented team has no direction and they're just kind of just winging it, yeah, you can win like that easily. You can easily win like that. But, you know, just winging it and being like, okay, we don't really know what to expect, so we just gonna just play our hardest every chance we get. You 100% can win like that. But what helps you is having a Von Miller in the locker room, having someone like that who's been there, done that, played in big games, played in Super Bowls, knows what it's like to have that pressure leading up to the Super Bowl, knows what it's like to have to deal with that practice and the mindset and the media, all that stuff. It provides that extra oomph to the team as far as when it comes time to be in the playoffs, when it comes time to win big games, when it comes time to, you know, down the stretch of the season, and you got to win this game to talk about making to the playoffs. You need someone like Von Miller to put the team in that right state of mind, like to know that, okay, this is what we got to do. This is how we got to approach this game. This is how we got to approach these playoffs. This is how we have to approach our mindset and our situation as far as how we're, you know, how we seem to be moving towards the, you know, track of the season. So it just provides those extra things that you cannot buy. You can't like just manufacture those things out of nowhere. You have to get someone who actually has that experience. Von Miller has that experience. Like, he future Hall of Famer for a reason. He had nine sacks last year. So he's still able to play at a high level. He had 9 sacks for the Commanders. Is he still, you know, Von Miller of the Denver Broncos? No. Is he still, you know, if he's still Von Miller, you could say, of the Los Angeles Rams? I feel like a little bit is still there, but, you know, he's gotten older, so I feel like that, you know, he's probably over time is taking a, a substantial and a significant, down tick, if you will, but he's still able to get you 9 sacks. You can't, it's players that are young players, 23, 24 years old, that can't get you 9 sacks a game. So he's still able to play at a very high level. He's still able to be Von Miller for what you need him to be Von Miller for. The only thing that has, I guess you say, been affected, or it has been affected in Von Miller's case due to his age, I feel like, it's his injuries. And knock on wood for him, his injuries has kind of been an area of concern. Hopefully that won't be the case this year, but his injuries have kind of been an area of concern, and that's natural. As we get older, you naturally get more injury prone. I mean, that's any way you try to slice the cake, that's just how it is. That's just what happens with longevity. Is what happens with father time. It just is what it is. You happen to get more injury prone. So what those injuries or those little nicks that you might have been able to just shake off and play next week, it don't go the same way when you get older. Them injuries that you would have just been able to tape it up, I'll be able to play next week. You ain't really able to play like that like you used to. So you got to kind of take some time off. You got to kind of pick your battles. If you got to deal with this ankle injury, your ankle a little sore, you got to kind of think more as you get older. Okay, do I really want to play on this ankle Sunday? Because if we make it to the playoffs, I would rather be available for the playoffs than tape this ankle up. I go out there and make this ankle worse, and then now I'm potentially risking not playing in the playoffs and not being there for my team when they really need me. So you kind of have to be smarter. You have to pick your battles. You kind of got to really be more tuned in and locked in as far as health, nutrition, whatever you do as far as your body, whatever you do as far as conditioning, recovery. All you got to be more in tune with all of that stuff as you go further into your career. And that's the thing that's kind of been affecting Von Miller later in his career. But the play on the field is still there. Like I said, 9 sacks this past year. So the play is still there. So don't think, just because he's Von Miller and just because he went unsigned or whatever, that he's not still able to play the game. No, he's still able to be Von Miller fully, full out when he's on the field and able to play. The problem is he hasn't been able to play and be on the field as much as he would like to. So that's why he hasn't been able to be Von Miller. But I feel like if the Cowboys can get the Von Miller that at least the Commanders got last year, getting 9 sacks, I feel like he will be worth the money they signed him for. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like he will be absolutely worth the money they signed him for. If you guys don't know, the deal for Von Miller ended up being a 1-year, $7.5 million deal at maximum value. Just to get you guys an idea put you in the mindset of what Von Miller has been able to do at this stage of his career. 138.5 career sacks. He is the active NFL leader. He is a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and a Super Bowl 50 MVP as well. So I feel like this is a great signing for the Cowboys to make, and I feel like that he will give the Cowboys their needed production. And some great news is, in 17 games, because he played all 17 games last year, once again, he had 16 combined tackles and 9 sacks. So, and the best part about all of that is he played 17 games last year. You can't ask for more than Von Miller for that. He played 17 games last year. Like I said, he hasn't been healthy. I fully acknowledge that he hasn't been healthy throughout the course of his career. I mean, through the down stretch of his career, he hasn't been healthy. But him playing 17 games last year, I mean, at least he showed you that he still can be healthy. So that's the thing you want to see as far as like a Von Miller. You want to see, can he be healthy? Can he stay on the field and still have that production? So 9 sacks in 17 games at this stage of Von Miller's career, beautiful signing for the Cowboys to make. Beautiful signing. The next signing we're talking about is Keenan Allen joining the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts boosted their receiving core by signing the 6-time Pro Bowler to a 1-year, $8.32 million max contract deal. He is expected to fill a vital leadership role as Alec Pierce continues his recovery from a sprained ankle injury. You guys know, once again, we just talked about the Colts when they re-signed Jonathan Taylor. And once again, we're talking about them today as far as their receiving core. I don't think they could have picked anyone better. I'll be honest with you. They couldn't have picked, in my personal opinion, anyone better. I am a huge Keenan Allen fan. Like, I love physical, big body pause receivers. Like I love like the Julio Jones type receivers. That's like my kind of receiver. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good speedster receiver, like a good route running speedster receiver. I love those receivers as well. I'm a huge fan of the receiving game as a whole. So any receiver that can handle his business and be consistent and make them plays, I'm a fan of. But as far as if I had to build a receiver and my ideal body type, pause, would be a Keenan Allen kind of big body, can do everything, route run, catch those jump passes. That's my kind of receiver that I would like and that I would probably gear my team towards to have as far as the number one receiver. So for him joining the Indianapolis Colts and giving Daniel Jones that reliable threat option, that guy that he can always go to, that guy that he can always rely on, because once again, much like Von Miller, the value you're getting with the Keenan Allen goes beyond his stats the past year. It goes beyond what he can give as far as on the stat sheet. It goes beyond that because he's seen so much in this league. He's done so much in this league. He just gives you that extra added boost that you need as far as being a good quarterback in this league, number one. And also he gives you that extra added perspective because with him being a veteran, he can go to the quarterback and give them a little detail that they didn't see. Because wide receivers, because you got to think every position on the NFL field has a perspective that maybe a quarterback doesn't see. Now, a good quarterback probably already knows these things. No offense to Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but little details slip past the quarterback sometimes. It's kind of understandable when you have to worry about where every other player is going to be, because that's what a quarterback's job is. You got to worry about where everybody else is going to be, what everybody else's job is. So you have to worry about that. So little details might slip by, little, things that you're not paying attention to might slip by. But where a Keenan Allen is going to come into play is he might be out there on the field and Daniel Jones might not see something. And then Keenan Allen on the sideline can come up to him and be like, hey, on this play right here, the safety keeps drifting over to the right. If we run this play right here and we switch that, okay, I feel like that could be a touchdown or a good first down. I feel like we can catch them off guard if we do this because they don't know that they're doing this every time they're moving the corner over this way. So we can try to run something to the right because they keep moving the corners over to the left. Like little details like that Daniel Jones might slip past him, or he might not see it because, like I say, he's worried about 50,000 other things at the time. So he's going to add that veteran experience, and the best part is, with them losing Michael Pittman, with them losing a great receiver like that Michael Pittman was, you need someone that can, now while Keenan Allen is not going to produce as far as, the stats wise, no offense to him, because if he was still in his prime, he would still be able to. But he's, Father Time is undefeated, as it is. So he's not going to give you the production, or at least I don't think so, the production that, Michael Pittman would be able to give you. He's not going to give you that production at this stage. But what he can do is he can help your current receivers do their thing and improve their games, give them tips to help them have more yards, give them tips to help them get better, give them tips to help them be in this league for a very long time and be a reliable receiver for the Colts for a very long time. And for himself personally, he had over 700 yards receiving last year. So while that's not, record breaking or anything like that, he still showed that he is able to play and able to get stuff done. Is he still the Keenan Allen that we all know and love? No. Like I said, Father Time is undefeated. We can't none of us beat it. It is what it is. I mean, can't none of us do it. Can't none of us defeat it. Now, granted, it's been a couple people that has given Father Time a great run for his money, okay? All right? Tom Brady gave Father Time, I'm talking about a beating for a while. he gave Father Time a good run for his money for a while. But at the end of the day, eventually Father Time, it just takes its course. It does its thing, and either you retire before it really sets in and you're still able to play at a decent level, or not decent, but a good enough level, and you retire before it fully sets in, which is what a lot of people do, or you just, you play until you just can't do nothing no more, which is that's not the route that a lot of people like to go, but a lot of people have went that route to where you're just not able to do nothing and you end up being worthless towards the end of your career. Keenan Allen isn't there yet. He's still able to produce. Like I said, had over 700 yards receiving last year, and I feel like that he will be able to give the Colts that reliable receiving threat, because one thing that Keenan Allen still can do is he still can catch passes. He still can be that reliable third down target, that guy that you need to go to when you absolutely have to have it. When it is 3rd and 7 and it's y'all have to get this first down, and because this is the game that y'all might clinch the playoffs, you have to get that first down. Keenan Allen can easily be that receiver that you go to, hit him with a quick little slant pass, or let a play action pass develop, and let Keenan Allen go one-on-one with a corner and let him use his body as the physical advantage over the corner. He still is coming down with those catches every single time, or at least most of the time, because he's still able to do those things. As far as making those type catches, Keenan Allen is still that guy. It's just as you get older, you ain't doing too much of the, okay, you're just destroying the corner for a full game and you're outrunning the corner and shaking the corner up. You ain't doing too much of that later in your career. You're not, because, number one, that takes energy. Number one, that takes a whole lot of energy to be doing that all game. Number two, opportunities. As you get older in your career, especially from a receiver position, you're not getting those opportunities that you once got. It's just not happening. I don't know. And, Chad Ochocinco, shout out to Nightcap, has talked about this multiple times. And I'm going to hit this real quick and then we can move on to the next signing. But after a while in the NFL, you can go look at it, and he has a point about this. After a while, when you're a receiver, even if you're an elite receiver, you having those 1,000-yard seasons and, 1,200-yard seasons, that's great. But after a while, when you get older and they start to draft your replacement, if you will, and they start to draft other receivers and they start to move on from you and you start not being as valued in that organization, they do a thing in the NFL to where you start getting phased out. And I know you're wondering, what are you talking about getting phased out? If you can play, you can play. You're absolutely right. If you can play, you can play. But when you're playing a reliable position like receiver, you're relying on the quarterback to get you the ball. If you're the wide receiver and I'm the quarterback, if I don't throw you the ball, you don't get your catches. If I don't throw you the football, there is no 100-yard game, because where's the catches coming from? There is no 100-yard game. There is no 1,000-yard season if I don't throw you the ball. So what happens later in your career, what Chad is talking about, Chad Ochocinco, he always talks about later in your career when you get older, teams stop giving you opportunities. They stop giving you those 13 catch games, them 10 catch games. They stop giving you that. Not even, I guess you would say not on purpose, but they start phasing you out to the point to where it's not really a point to get you involved no more. So when you get to that point, yeah, you're still able to play. Yeah, you're still able to put up over 700 yards. Yeah, you're still able to catch, the passes when you absolutely have to have it. Yeah, you're still able to catch touchdowns. But where you would be getting those 100-yard games, them 113-yard games, them 10 catch games, them 13 catch games, them 1,000-yard seasons, they start looking more like 3 catch games, 4 catch games, 1 touchdown games, 700-yard seasons, 800-yard seasons. They start looking more like that because you're not getting the opportunities. You're being phased out, and it's no longer a point for the team to get you involved. However, you're still able to play, but it's not a point for you to be involved anymore because the team has kind of moved away from you. That's where Keenan Allen is at this point of his career. Now, but can he still play, and will I feel like he will add value to the Indianapolis Colts? I do, and I feel like if they use him the correct way, I would use him as like an end zone monster. And what I mean by that is this: every time y'all get to the end zone, be looking for Keenan Allen. Every single time, I don't care what it is, look for Keenan Allen every time in the end zone. Like, if you can, give him like 13 touchdowns, and out of 13, 10 of them should be red zone touchdowns. Just every time y'all looking for Keenan Allen, using his physical use his physical skill to just snatch the football away from and keep it away from the corner and make it a touchdown every single time y'all put the football in his hands and he's able to score a touchdown with it. So that's what I feel like they should use him as. The last and final signing, last but certainly not least, Za'Darius Smith unretires and joins the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons signed veteran edge rusher Za'Darius Smith to a 1-year, $6 million deal, up to $8 million with incentives. Smith, who briefly retired in a stint with the Philadelphia Eagles last season, comes in to bolster a pass rush that is missing Jalen Walker and will be missing James Pierce Jr. for 8 games of the season. Me being an Atlanta Falcons fan, I don't have a problem with this signing. I don't mind it. I feel like that it's obvious pretty much why they brought him in. We have no pass, no real that you would say like standout pass rushers on the defensive line, especially because Jalen Walker is going to be out for the year with the ACL injury, and James Pierce Jr. is going to be out for 8 games of the season. So while that's not the full season, you can't. And I expect James Pierce Jr. to be practicing and stuff like that, and trying his best to stay in shape. But I don't expect James Pierce Jr. to come back, after week 8 and be like, okay, back to business as usual. I don't expect that. Now it'd be great if he did, but I don't see that happening. But I feel like he's probably gonna take a couple games to kind of get back in rhythm. So with that being the case, you're gonna be without some real standout pass rushers for at least 8 weeks of the season. So it was a smart move, I feel like, to bring in a Za'Darius Smith. Now, while he's not going to be record-breaking either, he's not going to jump off the stat sheet at this stage of his career. What he can do is he can provide that veteran leadership. He can provide some pass rushing threat out there. He can provide that quarterback alert as far as keeping an eye on him, because they are aware that if you do sleep on him, that he can rack up some sacks. If you do just think he's just anybody out there, he can rack up some sacks. And in those games to where you really need to have it, he can be that guy to where he kind of turns back the clock a little bit and can give you a good 1-2 sacks in the game if you need it. If you absolutely have to have it, he can kind of turn back the clock and kind of ramp it up to give them 1 sack, 2 sack games or high tackle games. He can kind of rack it up to get that, to give you something as far as a pass rush, give you something on the defensive line, because you're going to be without something for at least 8 weeks of the season. So he's going to be able to give you something. Now last year he only managed to have 1.5 sacks. So, I mean, he only managed to play, 6 games with the Philadelphia Eagles before retiring. So, it's not too much, that there's to look forward to as far as, is he going to be, just out of this world? It's not really a lot to look forward to as far as that. But I feel like, can he provide something? Can he provide some kind of threat? Can he provide something? He can provide a spark. He can provide the veteran leadership. He can provide, the quarterback pressures. He did have 10 of those last year. He had 2 hits and 6 hurries per Pro Football Focus. And he played 5 games, last year. So for the Eagles, he played 5 games, had 1.5 sacks, and then retired. So am I expecting a lot from him? No, because he hasn't really shown much in our last time seeing him. But I will say this, he can provide something as far as, like I said, quarterback pressures, giving the quarterback a little tingle pause as far as knowing, okay, that is Za'Darius Smith out there. Let me keep an eye on him. Let me make sure that we're not just sleeping on him, and he's not just aiming to just be able to freely sack me because nobody's watching him. So let's keep an eye on him. Let's make sure he's contained. So he will be able to add that extra pressure there as far as just having something on the defensive line that can actually go get the quarterback. No offense to any Atlanta Falcons players that's on the defensive line, 'cause I'm not saying that they can't go get the quarterback, but I'm talking about as far as a standout person that has respect of being able to go get a quarterback. You have somebody that can fill that little void now as far as Za'Darius Smith until James Pierce Jr. gets back. So that's what he can provide. So I feel like it'll be interesting signing. I don't expect, much as far as the stats are concerned, but I feel like he can give you something for 8 weeks while James Pierce Jr., deals with this whole situation and, and prepares to make his way back to the field. So he can provide you something. Out of all these signings that we talked about today, the best one has to be, I'll probably have to say Von Miller to the Cowboys. That'll probably be the best one. He makes the most sense. He's going home. He's obviously from Texas, so he's going home. You could say he kind of returned to his hometown team, if you will. He's going home. He has the opportunity to finish out his career with the prestigious organization like the Dallas Cowboys, and y'all know that he's going to get major publicity in this last run because the Dallas Cowboy media is ruthless. So, and they're a big market team, so he's going to get that publicity. He's going to get that media blast, if you will. He's going to get that, that kind of spotlight that he needs, I feel like, and that he deserves, because he still is able to be a very high level, not elite, but very high level pass rusher. So he's going to get that chance to be on a contending big market team and be a huge factor of to why they're winning games. So I feel like he's just going to help them tremendously as far as that. I'm interested to see how that works out. I'm interested to see if he can stay healthy this year. Knock on wood. I pray that he does. He did play, like I said, 17 games last year, so I feel like he does still have the capability to be healthy. It's just a matter of fact, can he do it 2 seasons in a row? He stayed healthy 17 games last year. Knock on wood, and I pray that he stays 17 games this year, and hopefully, ended out having a better season than he had last year. Maybe this year he has 17 games played and 11.5 sacks. I feel like he can do it. It's doable because Von Miller, he has the ability to turn back the clock pretty easily. So I feel like with him being in a situation to where the team is in a contending situation, plus it's a big market team, plus he's at home, I feel like he has the capability to really turn back the clock in this situation. So I feel like the Cowboys had the best signing, but for the Colts and for the Falcons, signing Za'Darius Smith and signing Keenan Allen, I feel like those were great signings as well, but I would give the trophy, if you will, to the Dallas Cowboys. So how about them Cowboys, if you will? But anyway, your boy Chill is out, man. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about these signings in the comments below. And with that being said, your boy Chill is out, man. Peace.